Namaste, welcome to Yoga and You. I'm Rasika Sampath. Today we're going to be having a little talk about what is yoga and why is it a way of life. Now, if you go and ask anybody what is yoga, what does yoga mean? They're going to come up with the most popular definition of yoga, which is that yoga is union. Okay. Now, for a person who's aware of yoga as something that you do physically, you do a couple of Surya Namaskars, you do a set of asanas, and that's what they think yoga is. For them, what does this concept of union really mean? People would say yoga is the union of breath and body. People would say yoga is the union of body and mind. Some more spiritual seekers would say this is a union of Jivatma, Paramatma. All these are very vague concepts, right? But it's not wrong to call yoga a union. But if you're saying yoga is union, that means there is a separation. So it is something that we need to sit with ourselves and contemplate about what it is that is separated from us, which needs to be united. So let's look at another definition of yoga. You might be aware of Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, which is the earliest text in yoga, written by sage Patanjali. Now, according to the Yoga Sutras, which is like the Bible for all yoga practitioners, yoga is defined as yoga chitta vritti nirodha. What does that mean? That means yoga is the complete stoppage or cessation of the fluctuations of the mind. Okay? This again could go on to a very lengthy discussion and it could go on to various explanations and interpretations. But in essence, what this means is that yoga is stillness. Okay, so as I'm talking to you here, there are so many things that are probably going on around me. There's so many things happening around in my life, in my environment, immediate environment right now. But there is a center within me which is still. So finding that still center is yoga. Now again, this concept might take a little bit of time and a lot of contemplation to actually fully grasp. Okay, so let's look at yoga as a system or a pathway towards understanding yourself completely, pathway towards self-realization, you could call it, pathway towards a higher truth. So where do you start from? Okay, where do you start with all of this? All of this is like really vague. We start with what we know right now to be us. What do you know right now to be you, sitting here? Your flesh and body, your body as you know it, flesh and bones. So we start with that. And then as we progress in our practice, we start to unravel subtler and subtler layers until the knowing, inner knowing becomes so complete that everything outside mirrors it. So they say the one who knows themselves fully knows all. So that is the end goal of yoga. Okay. Now there are 4 pathways that are written about to achieve this particular goal of self-realization, and each pathway is so beautiful because it targets or it speaks to people who have different personalities. So depending on what you have an affinity towards, depending on what comes naturally to you, you choose a pathway that suits you. You can even choose a combination of pathways because we're not the same all the time. So let's talk about the 4 pathways now. One is Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is a pathway of devotion. You could say devotion to the Almighty, divine love. And this pathway is suited best for people who find a lot of peace in worship and surrender. Then you have Jnana Yoga, which is the pathway of the study of scriptures. So studying all these ancient scriptures, ultimately leading to a better knowledge about yourself, that is Jnana Yoga. And what one needs for this is a naturally contemplative or philosophical bent of mind. If you have that, and if you possess the qualities of, they say, Viveka and Vairagya, which means discernment and detachment or dispassion, Jnana Yoga is best suited for those kind of people. Then you have the third path, which is Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is the pathway of selfless acts of service or duty towards others without expecting anything in return. The Bhagavad Gita largely deals with Karma Yoga as a concept, and according to the Bhagavad Gita, a spiritual seeker must perform his dharma or perform his actions with dharma without attaching himself to the fruits of his actions. And this is best suited for people who are naturally extroverted, who are naturally good to other people. If you find someone who can naturally uplift another person without having any other ulterior motives, Karma Yoga is best suited for people like that. Then you have the fourth path, which is Raja Yoga. Raja Yoga, or the royal road to God, it's also called Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga meaning 8 limbs. So this pathway has 8 limbs which are very clear step-by-step guidelines on how to live your life and ultimately reach or move towards this goal of self-realization. We will probably deal with these 8 limbs in another video, because that is a huge topic in itself. But for now I want to say that so Raja Yoga is best suited for people who are naturally contemplative or meditative in nature, and asanas, which are most popularly practiced as yoga in its entirety these days, is one limb of this Ashtanga path. Okay? So if you see, yoga is such a beautiful practice or such a beautiful philosophy. I would say yoga because yoga is a philosophy, right? It's such a beautiful philosophy because there is something that suits everybody. There is something for everyone. There is a pathway for everyone. So it gives so much hope to a human being who is born on earth, right? So I'll probably see you with another video on some other aspects of yoga. But for now, I hope this gave you some clarity about what yoga is. So we don't tend to box yoga as just a physical form of practice. So yoga is such a beautiful practice because there is something for everyone, and it's not something that you do for 1 hour or half an hour in a day and you get out. Yoga is a way of life, because no matter which path you choose, you are required to live your life with a certain kind of intention, and that is sure to take you towards this ultimate goal of knowing yourself completely, which is the purpose of our existence on this planet as a human being. Thank you.